welcome to the world of Newsmakers, a show that is going to bring you thrilling stories, thrilling journey of people from all walks of life. Be it any sector, we bring to you inspiring stories because at Newsmakers, we aspire to inspire you. Hi, I'm Simran Nagpal, your host for the entire series of the Newsmakers. And today on this show, we bring to you not just one newsmaker, rather two different newsmakers who are going to share their success stories. To begin with, we have a very dynamic personality who has helped startups to upscale and level up their business. We have with us Mr. Rajan Gulati, who is the co-founder of plutos_ONE. Hi, sir. Welcome to the stage of Newsmakers. It is a grand stage, it is a grand platform, and we welcome you here.
Thank you, Simran. Thank you for having me.
Sir, I know that you're the co-founder of plutos_ONE, but there must be a journey behind you. How has it been?
Okay, thank you for that question. I'm completely here by lucky accident and several lucky accidents. This was not planned. My journey started, if you talk about my education, I did my normal engineering from Delhi University, went and did an MBA at IIM Ahmedabad, and there it was that I knew that I wanted to do something with startups, but I wasn't sure what. So I sat for placements and but I knew that I'd only be at my job for a limited amount of time. Once I knew what it is that I wanted to do, I would quit. I started my career, got my placements at Castrol, worked as a management trainee and then as a brand manager. And I started getting interested in food and restaurants and service. And over time, I decided I wanted to run my own restaurants. So quit my job. The day I knew I wanted to run my restaurants, quit my job, came back to Delhi and started working in a number of restaurants in Delhi. And on the side, started teaching maths at a CAT Prep Institute. Okay. Had a lot of fun doing that. Finally partnered with another friend of mine from IIM. And we ended up running a chain of coffee shops for about 4 years. So in Delhi and Gurgaon. Had a lot of fun, but circumstances were such that it wasn't a very profitable business. We shut it down. I went to work for another startup in the fan engagement space, live sports and fan engagement, and worked there for 2 years. Then went to India's largest edtech firm at the time and became the head of their product. Did that for just over 2.5 years. Then got invited by a German conglomerate to head their India consulting business, which I did for 1.5 years. I enjoyed that, but I realized that my heart was in the startup space, not in the large industries space. So I quit and became a full-time startup consultant. And there I met my current co-founder. And we've been working together on something that we think has a lot more impact than either of one of us could have done alone. And so plutos_ONE is essentially a way to help Middle India get access to all the financial services and FIntech innovation that's happening in this country. We're just providing access to Middle India customers via their banks. And I feel very lucky and privileged to be able to do this.
This is incredible, a journey, because I really see that the kind of diverse fields that you worked on and you've reached here. You must have tasted your share of failures as well.
More than my share of failures, absolutely. The thing to remember is, in the moment, it can feel really, really bad. You put your heart and soul into, first I did it with coffee shops. Then I actually had an IoT startup for a bit while I was consulting. I'd co-founded that with some clients. You put your heart and soul into it and it doesn't work. And you tend to think that it's your personal feeling, that you weren't good enough, that you weren't able to hack it in the world. But on the flip side, when we're finding success, I think if you think the same way, then you let it go to your head and say that I did this, right? I think a little bit of humility is required in both instances. When you're successful, I've come to realize that you maybe control 10% of the outcome. 90% of it is chance. So I apply the same learning for a failure. Only 10% of it was in my control. And that 10%, even if it worked, may or may not have been enough to have success for the business overall. So if 90% of it is out of my hands, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm only going to figure out what it is that I can learn about it. What can I do differently? But even my failures have been fantastic in terms of the connections I've made, the learnings I've learned, my very, very diverse sort of history has led me to meet the kind of people that I would never have met. And it's from them that I've derived a lot of value. My current co-founder is somebody I met because I was doing something strange at the time. He was in the media space. I was cooking in restaurants as an IM grad. So we sort of ended up at the same place together, and we reconnected after a few years, and that's how this business came to be. So I don't think anything gets wasted. If you don't treat it like a setback, it's all investment into your future.
Absolutely. Such a beautiful thing that you said. So viewers, are you actually listening to it, that he's just told that in failures also we have a lot of opportunities, and that's how he managed to find his co-founder. So I would like to know more about plutos_ONE, sir.
Sure. So the first time I found out that India has 2,000 plus banks, it blew my mind, right? Sitting in Delhi, you can maybe think of 30 or 40 banks, and you can extend that to say there are maybe 100 banks in India. And almost everybody I've asked that question as to how many banks there are will come back with an answer that's 100, 50 or 200 maybe. When you realize that's 2,060 banks in India, you realize that most of them and most of their customers don't have access to the kind of services that you and I have access to sitting here, right? So we have multiple credit cards, we have access to all the fantastic stuff that's happening in digital payments in India, UPI, RuPay, all of that. And most people in India still don't have access to that. So plutos_ONE became a vehicle for us to take the benefits that you and I have access to and take them to the next 200 million customers in India. And I think the work that we've done in the past, in the previous company, led us to have fantastic relationships with a lot of players in this ecosystem, whether it was the banks, whether it was merchants, whether it was the networks. And it was in a conversation with NPCI that it turned out that we realized that if we could take what we had built, which was a large incentives platform, and marry it to all the digital payments and the digital technologies that the NPCI was building, we would be able to do a lot more. So that's how plutos_ONE was founded. And we've just been approved for a BBPS license by NPCI. And we think that digital bill payments, if you can get people to try that out on a platform that is actually good, useful, and rewarding for them, you can get them to try out other digital financial services. And that's the entire play that we're doing. So we help banks set up and manage their digital payments for bills, and then put rewards and engagement behind that. And then we own the customer experience to get the customer to try out new services and new products and deliver more value to them. We think that everybody in the country deserves access to the same facilities. Currently, we're the only ones who are incentivized to go give it to the next set of users. And we're taking advantage of that.
So you mean to say you're like majorly catering to either the rural areas where it has not reached, or the common man?
So it would be, it's actually quite normal to assume that just because I'm saying that some services are not available, that we would need to go to the rural areas. And while that is true, it's actually even true for tier 2 cities in India. Credit from banks hasn't reached these cities. A lot of the customers of, say, the cooperative banks are business owners who have large turnovers, but the banks haven't yet given them credit cards, right? How do you get credit into the hands of these users? And how do you get these users to take advantage of all the fantastic stuff that's happening under UPI, under RuPay, under BBPS? How do you take those things and take them to users? Because all of those are digital. So what digital platform can you use to access those users, deliver those services to them? There are a bunch of startups doing fantastic work within FinTech itself. But how do these startups get to those users? Because what happens in the Indian startup space, and this is true globally also, but more so in India, there's a race to acquire the users at the top. Every startup is trying to acquire the same top 5% of users by, say, income in India. And what's happening is below the 10th percentile, nobody's actually serving those users. If I were a new fintech today, my investors would tell me, look, you have to go after that profitable customer straight up. It doesn't matter what it costs you to acquire that person, own that customer. Sure, but how do you get to then the 11th percentile, the 15th percentile, the 50th percentile? Nobody has an incentive to acquire that user. That user is already sitting with their bank. So if we can unlock the value within India's banks, and every day I think about it, it boggles my mind the amount of value that's lying locked with India's banks. If we can just unlock 2% of that value, 3% of that value, I would feel that our work has been done. That's what we're trying to do.
That's incredible, sir. This is something which is not known to a lot of people, and it's such a news for me as well.
It was news for me when I first discovered it.
So, yeah, I would really be wanting to know that about your investors, the company that investors have.
Sure. So we've been very lucky with the kind of investors we picked up. There is my co-founder has done some stellar work even before I joined. In working with the banks and the networks, and had a fantastic reputation that we've been able to take advantage of. We built a lot of our business on his reputation, and in taking that reputation first to NPCI, who's given us a license on that basis, and then taking that license to a lot of our network, extended network, friends and family, we've been able to raise money there. I feel very lucky because of the network I've had. My first two investors were the group CFO for PNG India, the gentleman called Gautam Kamath. I told Gautam in a phone call that this is what I'm doing. He's like, I won't be able to understand, but if you're doing something, I want to be invested, right? The second investor for us was the president for Uber Southeast Asia and India, Prabjit. Prabjit is also a dear friend. Gautam and Prabjit both said, no questions asked, here's our money, do what you will with it. And when you get those kind of names on board, then getting the next set of names is much easier. Right, and I've had some fantastic friends who've lent their names and their money to the platform. So one of our earliest investors was the ex-managing partner for Blackstone in India called Neeraj Mohan. Neeraj is a dear friend, and Neeraj's name carries gravitas that even mine doesn't in the industry. Several times my gravitas, and with him came Akash Chaudhary from Akash Education. We've had the vice chairman at Shriram Credit join us, and we've had some fantastic investors. Our entire ethos behind raising funds from angels was to get the good names, and we would not worry about the money. The money would come. Thankfully, India is that kind of market where, despite the winter, the funding winter, money is available. It's reputation, it's credibility that you're trying to build, and our investors have been a major chunk of that credibility for us. So we're very lucky that way.
So now, viewers, you know that what are the advice has been given to you by Mr. Rajat Gulati. You have to keep that in mind. And yes, remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you so much, sir, for being here on the show and enlightening us with your knowledge. And yes, my dear friends, like I told you in the initial stage that we are going to bring you another newsmaker who is going to yet another enlighten you with his knowledge. So stay hooked. We are bringing you another newsmaker very soon. Hello viewers, I am Simran Nagpal, your host for the series of Newsmakers, the show where we bring you personalities from all walks of life. Because at Newsmakers, we aspire to inspire you. Friends, I had promised during my episode that I would bring to you not just one, I will make you meet two different personalities, two different newsmakers on this episode. And I'm so glad that we have today another very, very dynamic personality with us who believes, yes, my dear friends, please make a note. She believes that the world is full of opportunities. And it is up to you if you grab them or leave them thinking or sulking and, being very sad about it that, oh, I can't achieve them. We have with us a very, very accomplished life coach. She's also a motivational trainer. And my dear friend, she's a corporate trainer as well. So, the most important part, she has received a lot of accolades for her commendable work. No, I can't keep you waiting for long. We have with us our next guest, our next newsmaker, Miss Anamika Yaduvanshi with us. Welcome to the series of Newsmaker, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Simran. I'm so delighted and so happy to be here. It's such a nice show and you're doing an incredible job. Really, really proud to be here.
Wow, it feels so great to have you, such a pleasing personality, and thank you for your kind words, ma'am. We would like to begin this journey of knowing what a life coach is all about. And to start with, I would like to know your journey so far.
Okay, the question is actually, it takes me back into my past. My journey has been incredible, fantastic, and full of learning experiences. Life has taught me a lot, and I tried to learn and apply whatever I could. So, life coaching journey, actually, I would say I got married in 2002. And from 2002 to 2008, I was an interior designer. I still am. And I did my 1 year internship after getting married. And then 5 years full-time interiors, full of creativity because I'm a very creative person, traveling, driving, and there used to be days when I was traveling 4 cities in a day. And then my kids happened. I have twins, so I was sorted in a month. So I had 2 kids in a month, so I was sorted. So there was no like 4 years later I have to plan again. So I was sorted one time only. However, when they came, my time, they consumed my time and so many things happened. And I used to love helping people. I could not go out for my interiors because I was confined to home. I have to look after kids. And then universe also played its part that I got allergic to dust. Whenever I would try to go to some site, I would just get allergic and that allergy would get transferred to my kids. So I was like, no, I need to put it on a halt for some time. And then I recalled that I used to read cards. I was a tarot card reader from my school days. When I had a 2 months gap after my 10th boards, I studied tarot. I got a book, I studied tarot, and then I started doing it as a hobby. And then a lot of people, relatives, friends used to come and get their cards read. So I was like, okay, I like that. Let me just, re-study that because I was idle at home. I wasn't going for my interiors work. So when I started, reading cards, again, friends, relatives, and people that are coming, Amika, this is really good. What you say, it helps. And, it helps us look at things from a different perspective. It gives us guidance. This is really nice. So my family said, why don't you do it? Because you really want to do something. It's easier for you to do it like that. And you love helping people. I started, and you will not believe it, Simran. In just a span of 3 months, I got my website done. And I had clients from all across the globe. From New Zealand, Australia, Dubai, US, UK. So at night, I would be sitting on my Skype account. And
was it tarot reading?
Tarot reading. And I was doing tarot reading on Skype. This I'm talking about 2010. But then, in India, I got like a lot of TV shows also. A lot of things happened. And then people started coming to me for remedies because in India, unfortunately, we look for easy ways. Just tell us one simple remedy, go to some people thing, do this thing, that thing, and a life is sorted. But it doesn't work out like that. You need to work on yourself. But when I had clients and they were so dependent and they were looking for remedies, again, it got me thinking that no, I'm not helping them. I'm making them dependent. So I started my studies journey again. I did hypnotherapy. I did coaching from International Coaching Federation. I learned a coaching thing and I got the course done. Took me a few months to finish that. And then when I started that, I was like, this is real help. Because this way, we tell people where they're stuck, how they're stuck, and how they can get out of that and move from that threshold. And then they become a better person, a better version of themselves. So this is what this journey has taught me. And this is now I'm in love of what I'm doing.
I'm sure because I probably had no idea that you were a tarot reader as well. Like, there's Sonia, like a multi-talented person, like a multi-talented person. She's a tarot reader, she's a life coach, she's a motivational trainer. What a journey, man. So now moving further, then why? Like you've been into this field, healing a lot of people. What inspired you to be a life coach?
Wow, lovely. Simran, all of us are human beings. And there's one thing which is underlying everything that we do. And that is we're looking for love. We're looking for acceptance. You want to make it big because you want to be accepted by the society. You want to do this, you want to earn a lot of money because you want to share that money with your loved ones, with your family, so that people acknowledge you, people love you. You're all looking for love and acceptance. And in that drive, sometimes we are lost. When we're not accepted, we are lost. So in life coaching, when I'm able to help people that how to get that love, how to get that acceptance, first of all, you accept yourself. First of all, you know what is it that you want, not like what is it that you want to show to others, prove to others. What is it that you want? When we do that brainstorming and the real want comes out, and then you start moving there, you achieve that. And that doesn't happen overnight. It's a step-by-step, slow and a very gradual process. And when the transformation happens, that is incredible.
Also, so you were like probably in search of yourself and you were wanting to, self-love is what I feel inspired you to come to this life coaching, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, helping others by helping myself.
Yes.
That is something that inspired me because When I became better version, I kept improving. Whatever life kept throwing at me, I kept improving. And, became just was on a journey of becoming better version of myself. So I thought, why not, let others also become better version of themselves by making the most of whatever life is throwing at them.
That's so good. Ma'am, I would just want to know, when does one really feel a need of having a life coach in life? Like, I mean, when do I realize that, oh, fine, I need one life coach in my life?
That is, I would say, a beautiful question. Life coach is required or not? Because nowadays we believe that life coach is like, a very luxurious thing. Only rich can have it. That's not true, actually. That's a myth. That's a myth. See, it's like that you want to go somewhere, but because you can't see things for your own self, you want someone who can help you see. Goal would be yours. Action would be yours. But the accountability partner, the push, would be somebody else's. Now, that job a coach does. Coach is like your accountability partner. You decide that you want to achieve this goal. You want to become this person in your life. You want to achieve this thing in your life. And then you set an action plan. But when it comes to action, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it some other day. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. And it's not for me. It's too tough. And, you just keep on procrastinating and die in your self-doubt. We feel somebody else can do it. If my neighbor can do it, maybe my enemy can do it. Perhaps it's not for me. I cannot. If the goal is yours, that's why we do the initial brainstorming, whether the goal is yours or is it society imposed. So if it is yours and you're just full of self-doubt or whatever belief system which is not helping you, we do that brainstorming. And then goal hai, if you have a goal, you need to have a life coach. That is how you decide whether one needs a life coach or not. If you have a goal, you need one life coach to help you achieve that goal.
So viewers, now you know that when you have a goal, you're really required to have a life coach, because a life coach handholds you till your entire journey. No, ma'am, I'm so wanting to know that, having that belief system, because life coach, once you have your life coach, but then you have to really believe in them. Okay, fine, he's going to take me forward. How do you tackle such people? Because there are maybe times people will be coming with this faith issues or maybe trust issues as to, okay, fine, Anamika ji would be able to help me or not. Does that happen to you?
Yeah, that is actually a challenge which I come across often, because people would come because they would come with the belief that things will happen overnight. Okay, now I've hired a life coach. Now I'm going to become a rock star. It doesn't happen like that, because you need to take actions. See, there are so many books, so many things, and so much of knowledge is available on YouTube. If that knowledge is everything, I think everybody can become whatever they want to become.
Absolutely.
But the secret is acting on it. So if they are not able to act because of faith issue or whatever, we build a rapport. We just give them small accomplishments, that they achieve small things. We give them smaller tasks. Okay, if you want to do this, let's see if you can make this. Let's see for 1 week if you can just, if it's a fitness goal, let's see only for 1 week you can just do a 20 minutes walk every day. Let's do this. They think, oh, it's easy. They just go into that thing, it's easy. Although it's easy, but doing it for 7 days, that's a challenge. Now, when they do it, then they get that small taste of faith. Yeah, I wasn't able to do it earlier on my own and I was procrastinating. Now, because I have done this, I will be able to do other things as well. So people who have faith issues, we give them small targets and we help them achieve those targets. Then they get that sense of accomplishment, and then slowly and gradually the faith develops.
That is really, really a very big thing, to have that trust. And I'm so glad that you were able to achieve with your clients and the people you're healing. And you are such a beautiful personality. I'm sure people must be trusting. Now, ma'am, moving further, I would just want to know that when does a person get to know that, now I need a life coach in life? Like, what kind of a mental issues? What could be the things? Because you may be meeting a lot of people. What kind of issues that you face with people?
Okay. So what happens is, suppose one has been working on a goal.
Okay.
And they have been trying hard enough. They've done everything. For instance, I would take, if you've been, wanting to write a book. and you've been trying to do it, but sometimes you will change the topic, sometimes you will you will just get stuck that I'm not able to get enough research material on it, or maybe so many people have written books on the same subject, my book won't do any good, so you'll stop it. But you really want to write a book, and you have done your everything. This is your goal.
Right.
You've given your every effort, everything, and now you're stuck. You want to be an author, you've tried everything, but don't know what to do. You go to a coach. You go to a life coach, and then you just tell your goal, this is what I want to do. And then again, the coach will do brainstorming. Okay, you want to write a book. Like, from where did this idea got into your mind, and what will it make you feel to be an author? And what is it making you feel to not be an author? And then you again ignite that spirit, that hunger to be an author. And then you give them again small things. Okay, let's just see what topics. Maybe you're stuck on one topic, then we again do researching 10 topics. You think about 10 topics, then that person will come, after having a lot of work done on those 10 topics. And then again, that person would say, yeah, I never thought there's one topic which that person never thought of. And then the brainstorming with that answer will come. So this will happen in certain session. So if you have goals which you have worked for, you've tried, you've given everything, you've done every effort, you're still stuck. Life coach will give you that help, that effort, which even after your earlier efforts will help you succeed.
Well, now we know that why we need a life coach. Whatever things that we are facing, probably mental, emotional, physical, I think a life coach is really, really needed for us to have that guidance in life. Ma'am, now I would just want to sum it up with this one beautiful advice from your side for people who are wanting to, just start to have a life coach. What is one advice to those people?
Life is tough, but beautiful. Experience are sometimes not so nice, but there is some learning out of those. Ditch the drama, keep the learning, and keep moving on ahead. Things will never happen overnight. There's no one who has become an overnight success. All the successful people that we see in this world, they have been trying excessively hard for so many years. And one common thing, all of those people had mentor or coaches or someone guiding them, helping them, hand-holding them to become what they have become today. So failures are a must, because failures are stepping stones. Having a coach or a mentor or a guide by your side, that is also a must. And keep moving ahead. That is a must. Stopping is not an option. Getting stuck is not an option. Learn the lesson. Start your day afresh. Keep moving.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so very much, ma'am, having you here. And, it is so enlightening to have people like you with us here on such a show, because the idea of our show is to inspire people. And, with this, with the learning that you gave us today, definitely people are going to be very sure that now they need a life coach. They know when we have to walk a path. Like ma'am just said, that life may, well, there's no way that you can stop. You really need to move further. And success never comes overnight. So move on, friends, and have that goal and achieve it and be very, very happy. This is Simran signing off from today's episode, and I promise to you that I will bring to you another dynamic newsmaker in my next episode. And yes, if you think that you can be on this couch and share your stories, then what are you waiting for? You can call on the numbers here or email us, and we would definitely be connecting you. Till then, have a very, very blessed life and follow the mantra ma'am just gave. Goodbye.